aren't going to. And so we met through Alita. Alita is a dear family friend with Cheryl. Like, they are family. They live life together. And then Alita and I have gotten to be just sweet, sweet friends in the mastermind that we're in with Kristen Boss. And the weekend that we were together, Alita was like, you have to meet Cheryl. You just, like, Cheryl's reputation came before Cheryl's face came. I always think, oh my goodness, I felt like I knew her before we actually met face to face. And we got to be together in April of this year at our diamond meeting. That was that beautiful secret meeting that we got to be a part of, that was rolling out our modernization compensation plan that we all know about and we're so excited about. And Cheryl and I have become sweet friends. We're kind of side sisters. We meet together. We talk through things. We talk about our own things that we have going on. And so it's been a sweet, sweet time. The thing that I respect about her, well, there's a lot of things that I respect about her. First of all, she's a grandmother of 6. I know her daughter lives close. I'm sure she's going to tell us all about it. You're going to hear her accent, which I am always fascinated with. Sometimes I watch her mouth move more and listen to her accent more, and I'm like, what did you say? Because she has an awesome accent. You'll hear where that came from. But she just has a corporate type of a background. She's CPA background. As you know, I shared with you guys, she's now full-time with her business, has those 6 grandbabies. Her husband, they've been married over 30 years. He was in the airline industry. So you're going to hear those things. And I just got super fascinated because of my corporate background. I love to hear why people choose this business, because for many people in corporate America, you're able to hit a certain salary. You are able to bring yourself into a position of promoting. You really, in corporate America, you do have to hustle if you want to do that. And to see, because of the background that we come through, and then to see that we look at a business plan and we say this business plan is good, and this business plan can equal or exceed, is a really big deal for me. And so I respected that of who she is and where she comes from. And so I asked her to come and share with us a little bit just about her journey, what made her say yes to this business plan, where she is today, how her life looks different today, and really just share some tips with us as we continue to grow our businesses. So, Miss Cheryl, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Well, that was the sweetest introduction ever. I'm just going to come on your Zooms every Tuesday morning. That's it. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. And I live in Tennessee in a log cabin, but I don't sound like I'm from Tennessee. So that's so funny because I always think I don't have an accent. And but I lived my whole life in New Jersey, and about 9 years ago is when we moved out to Tennessee. And gosh, just thinking about all this, that was really a God thing too. Looking back on it, you ever look back on your life and you can look back and just see how everything was laid out and prepared. And I had originally had a friend say to me, oh, you know what? God put you out in Tennessee for Alita. And when she said that to me, I thought, well, no. But then after everything fell together the way it did, and I really look back on just like a lot of years, I think, well, yeah, because my husband and I stepped out in faith and moved out here. Like, we literally knew no one, which is funny. And I spent this is just a side, this is extra credit for you guys. I spent a whole summer looking at houses in North Carolina. And then he says, well, I want to move to Tennessee. I'm like, I've been married to you for 30 years. I never heard you say that. I'm like, are you kidding me? And he had retired early. He was actually a corporate pilot for GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceuticals. So this is interesting. So I have an appreciation for pharmaceuticals. and I have an appreciation for natural health. And I think it's a great balance to have. And I actually think everybody should have that because we need our pharmaceuticals when we need them. We just don't need to overuse them. And our body is so good at healing itself when you fuel it correctly. And I always say actually that Plexus is just one of part of my healthy tool belt that I use. There are a lot of things that I use, but Plexus ranks right up there. Um, but anyway, so we moved out here. We did have one acquaintance that we met up with because I said, I've got to have one friend, honey. I need one friend wherever we go. Because I was a little nervous about that. But my daughter's Megan Malakovic, she is also a diamond. And she's like, Mom, you can make friends with anyone, but it's a little different when you don't have kids, when you're 50 and now you've got to start your life over. So that's interesting season in itself. And I moved. So so then so we met up with that one friend and they've become dear friends of ours. I absolutely love them and they've been our best buds, helped us find our house. And we just do life together. They still are not in Plexus, but I'm working on it, you know. You know what? This is the other thing is that it is nice to have friends that aren't in Plexus too. Like sometimes you think, oh gosh, I can just go and be there and just be, you know, because no matter how much you say, oh, I'm not going to talk about Plexus, like you do. Like, I don't know. That's what we do anyway. But thank you so much for having me here. This is really fun. Um, and I appreciate Melissa for inviting me on, and we have just had a great time getting to know each other. That's actually one of the things about Plexus that I love is the relationships that we build even outside of our team. And that really is one of my favorite parts. I always say that Plexus was the community that I didn't even know I needed, especially when I moved out here. So quickly, I was not interested in Plexus at all. So Alita and I were friends. We had a small group. I taught one of her oldest stepdaughters sign language because there's a whole homeschool group. And I did that for 2 years. And that's kind of how I got to know her, but more through really our small group, which we called our small large group, because I think there were 8 adults and oh my gosh, 25 kids. So we would put them all down in the basement while we would do Bible study, which is hysterical. So, and I didn't really even know Alita that well. Like we knew each other and we were in small group but we weren't like bonded. But anyway, I saw like a change in her. I was like, I don't know what this Plexus stuff is, but I'm not doing it because I don't know. I don't like it. I was skeptical. I'm like, I don't know. And so she would just talk to me about it. And I was just like, nah, nah, nah. And then one day, and she was always just really friendly. And one day I was sitting at her counter and I was talking about how I really needed to work on my cholesterol. And mine and my husband's had creeped up. And I said, but how I hate fish oil. She's like, oh my gosh, well, we have these plant-based omegas. And she like whipped around with her computer. And she's like, I just want you to look at this. And before you know it, she had me signing up as a preferred customer. And I mean, I just thought, okay, all right, fine. So that's how I signed up as a preferred customer taking Mega X. Like that's it. And then a few months later, her husband had passed away, and my husband and I just made an immediate decision that we would do whatever we could to walk alongside her. And again, it really was a God thing, and that is what we did. I literally became her right-hand person for 2 years. I would go to her house at 6 in the morning. I would homeschool her kids. I would feed them. I was just always there. Like I'd take her kids. I just melted into her family and did what I just knew to do. Like when you're in situations like that, you don't even know what to ask for. And I don't know. It was just weird. It was a total God thing. Like I just came in and did. It was funny. So then we decided that the one thing that we could do for her was support her in her business. So I just upgraded myself to ambassador and thought, well, we could do that. And I thought, well, if I'm paying for the products, I'm going to take them. because I'm not going to be silly. And because I'm very like, like, okay, well, I'm a rule follower, okay, which goes well sometimes and not others. But I thought, okay, and Alita is so funny because like she never coached me on anything. Like, I mean, I don't, whatever. I just guided myself and looked and I guess maybe that's how I became a researcher of the products. So I really just started doing research myself. I would throw out questions to Alina like, well, what is this in the P96 shakes? I was interested in those originally. And then I would just throw it, and she'd throw out an ingredient, I'd research it. And we just kind of went from there. And maybe it was my nature or whatever. Well, so my background, like Melissa said, is I had my own CPA. I've been doing CPA work, and I have my own business for over 30 years as well. And one of the things, I chose the CPA business because I wanted to be able to work anywhere in the United States. Like wherever I went, I wanted to be able to work anywhere. And I thought you could do that as a CPA. But what I love about Plexus is it takes it one step further. Not only can you work anywhere in the world, but you can work off of your phone. The problem with my CPA business is all my stuff was here. I got filing cabinets that I'm still, trying. I'm cleaning out my office. I'm going to do some whatever shiplap in here. I'm going to change it into my Plexus office because even though I say I retired my CPA business out a year ago fully, I kept like 5 people. But this year I told them, I said, I'm not doing you any service. I don't even know the tax law. Like they changed forms and I didn't even know it. So I'm doing you a disservice, and I just set them up with someone else. So, but I absolutely just love that you can literally do this from anywhere and you have everything in the palm of your hands. I mean, how incredible. So that intrigued me, right? And and then I started just looking at the compensation plan, really, I did that a lot with my son-in-law. So my daughter Megan will tell you that we made fun of Plexus, like we just did. Like they were in on it too. We would laugh about it. And then a couple months in, they're like, huh, you seem like you're defending this. Like you're like, I started talking about gut health and when I was feeling better, and they noticed a change in me, and they're like, huh, this is kind of weird. And so but he's a real business guy, Phil, my son-in-law, amazing. And so started looking at compensation plans, and of course I get numbers. So I was like, this is just crazy good. And then people started noticing my health, and that was really, so that my big advice is getting people to share right away. I think there's something in that, hey, you're not making any claims. This is the one thing I feel I missed out on. You're not making any claims. You're just inviting people along to the journey with you. And in some ways, I feel like I couldn't do that the same way you can as when you're new, right? You just say, hey, I just started this. Who wants to join me? Who wants to be accountable with me? In my situation, I didn't get silver for 9 months, okay, because I wasn't really working the business initially. And so people came to me. So it was my daughter Megan was my first ambassador. I signed her up under the wrong Cheryl Muller, okay? There's another Cheryl Muller out there in Plexus, and I forgot my website. I didn't know. And so I got her switched like 2 months later. I'm like, Alita, why is she not under me? So we got her switched, and Plexus was kind enough to give me my $50 business building bonus because she had bought a double triplex pack. They used to have those, right? And so Megan was my first, and then my second was my cousin Kathy. She came to me, what are you doing? And then my friend Lisa, same thing. Like at that point I had posted a couple times, but I wasn't really pursuing the business. So I went silver after 9 months, and then started, that's when my health changed. So like, just to give you a snapshot of my health, is that I thought I was healthy. So that was another thing. I didn't need the business. You Plexus people are crazy, and I'm healthy. Like, why do I need this? Okay. Yet I was so unhealthy. It was ridiculous. So I've lost a total of 40 pounds, and kept it off. So that's my health testimony. I lost it 25 pounds the first year, and then the rest of it like within a year and a half, and I've kept it off. I'm consistent. Like I said, I'm kind of a rule follower, so it's a challenge. And then you know, I don't have any more seasonal allergies. I don't take those meds anymore. I got off my hormone meds because in your 50s, you start having hot flashes, and I was taking hormones. I thought, I'm just done with that. So enter X Factor Plus. And then I stopped drinking Diet Pepsi. And I'm going to tell you, it took me 9 months to finally do that. I did not want to let that go. But again, the same thing. I thought, I'm paying for this stuff and I'm drinking Diet Pepsi. Like, that does not make sense. And so I gave that up, and it literally was a nothing burger, I tell people, because I was afraid I was going to get headaches and I was going to be sick and in withdrawal. Like, I literally thought I was going to have like a drug addict reaction to it. And I didn't. It was nothing. Like, and I have tasted it twice since I stopped, and it's disgusting. And then let's see what, because I used to have migraines. That was the other thing. Like 6 months in, Megan says to me, "Oh my gosh, you haven't had a migraine, Mom." And I was like, "Oh gosh, you're right. I forgot." And that's why I encourage people to keep health journals too, because you forget what you have when you don't have it anymore. And then I started ease, and like I'm addicted to that and believe everybody should be on that. And that's what actually keeps me lean. But anyway, so that's kind of my health journey. So, you know, people would see that, and I could invite them into it, but it's just not the same as that shout out post that we ask people to do. And again, even if it's a month or two in, even if it's not that first day, you know, that's still new. So so that's one of my tips. But the thing is that what you know, Melissa kind of touched on it, you know, in corporate America and just in life in general, we you know, people, you know, kids go to, you know, K to 12, and then it's like, you got to go to college to get a degree, and then you do this or whatever. And that's just kind of the way it is. And it's interesting because my daughter Megan was almost in this transition phase. She's 30 now. Like, I almost didn't want to send her to college. She wanted to be a personal trainer. And I thought, gosh, that's a lot of money to spend on someone who's going to be a personal trainer. And she had always said, like, she never held a job in her life. So that's another thing. Like, so anyone can do it, you know, and we say that, we mean that. Like, she didn't work. She was a competitive gymnast. So she did gymnastics 5 hours a day, every day. And so, you know, she didn't work, but on the weekends she would babysit, and she always wanted to be a mom from day one. That's all she wanted to be. And I thought, oh, that's a lot of money to spend on a mom, but I get it. You know, it's just like, you know, and so what I love about this business is that anyone can do it, and you don't have to have a degree. And it doesn't matter if you're introverted, extrovert. I mean, you've heard it all. It's anybody. It doesn't matter if you're 20 or you're 50, 60, 70. We have a Sapphire, I think, which she's 73. Is that our oldest jewel? So, I mean, it's crazy. I'm 58. And I feel like I'm in a whole new season of life. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I love it. I just did not realize that I would love this season of my life so much. It's because I have this health, and I have this business, and I found a passion for helping other people and natural health that I never realized I had. Except I did always tell people, you know, I wish I'd been a nurse. So now I know that we are not nurses, but it was that wanting that health that I had an interest in the back of my mind, that I never did anything with it. Again, to me, another God thing. Like, you just see it all along. Like, now I could do it, you know, and it's just, you know, and I love it. Okay, let's see, where was I? I'm sorry, I'm like going off on, so like the potential is really endless. And so I did have some people working for me initially in my CPA business, but I whittled it down to me, and I was just tired. I was tired of taxes after 30 years. But I would tell people what I loved was the people part, because I would have my clients come in, and, you know, back in the days when we met with people, I mean, they would come into my office, and I loved that part of it. When I moved to Tennessee, most of my clients stayed with me, and we just learned how to do it remote. So I was kind of doing that anyway. I knew I wasn't going to take on any any here. But my husband retired early at 55. He was just done with the corporate world. Um, and, uh, and so we always had plenty of money. And he had a lot in retirement, but at 55, you don't want to start taking that money out. So we went from making a lot of money, like he used to get like, I don't know, $100,000 bonuses, and you learn, I don't know, you spend as much as you make. Like I'm just here to tell you, you just kind of do. And I'm all about, and I've learned to manage money and things like that. And I know how to do that, but you have that propensity. So now you're down to, we were like a fifth. We were taking out from his retirement about a fifth of what we were used to living on when we moved to Tennessee. I was like, wow, like we never actually lived on a budget. We always had plenty of money, like, so we never lived on a budget. So here I am in my 50s living on a budget. Now, would we be fine? Yes. But there's no margin and no options. And that's what I see Plexus is, full of margins and options for what you want to do in your life for your family. And this is something else. I'm going to do our power hour on this tomorrow. I finally, light bulb, I finally understood abundance. Okay, so there's a difference between wealth and abundance. So I'm going to see if I can explain this. So wealth is having money. Think about a teacup on a saucer, okay? Abundance is the overflow and what's on that saucer, and you can give that out to whoever you want. That's what I want. I want that abundance. That was the one thing. Now, we're taught that we should give out of what we don't have, right? There's something about that. The lady with the coin, the widow with the coin, and that was all she had to give, okay? And I get that. I get that there's something to that. But at the same time, like, it's interesting because, my I didn't become a Christian until I was in my 30s either. So I don't know. I felt like I had a great life. I don't have any sad story to tell you. I don't feel like I had any trauma in my life. I had a great childhood. Life is good. I didn't have I don't really have a Christian story, but one of the things I always loved was that out of the abundance that we had when my husband was working, I loved giving the money away. Like, that was so fun. And I thought that, my gosh, when he goes into retirement, like, I was like, I don't know, we're not going to be able to do that anymore. So I think you have both spectrums that you can appreciate and love on the giving spectrum. And so I love that we have the ability to not only, we can always continue to keep giving to all of those missionaries and whatever we wanted to. And now we give more. And I love that. So that's another thing about the Plexus business that I love, those margins and options to do what you want. And again, a lot of times it starts with your family, and then it goes outwards from the abundance and the overflow that you have. So, okay, let's see here. Oh my gosh, it's 11:27, you guys. I don't know about you guys. I'm loving chatting with you guys. So, okay, let's see. So you know what I love. I told you a little bit about learning, and I'm going to give you just some other pointers because, okay, I said about sharing immediately. The other thing is, I wish I had done personal growth earlier. So Alita will tell you. So Alita and I can go at it and then just stop immediately and just be friends. Like, she can challenge me like nobody else in love. And I'm telling you, we've had some knockdown dragouts, like friendly but serious, you know what I mean? And then we're best friends. Like, it is a quality, trust me, I do not have that with everyone. I wish I did. I wish that every team member was like that, could receive things like that, but they don't. So I don't know, I guess it just helps us be better people. But I love that I have that with Alita. And I would tell her flat out, she would want to do accountability groups. I'm like, I'm not doing those. I'm like, no, I don't. She's like, well, why not? Are you afraid of them? I'm like, no, I don't want to do them. Okay. I just don't. And like, she would just be like, okay. And I wouldn't do them. And like, I would have my own little thing. At that time, I wanted to do Bob Heilig's Legacy Leadership Academy. And I did. And that was when I went Emerald. So like, I knew that that's what I needed. And so it was okay if I said no to Alita for that one thing. And the other thing that Alita taught me was that always be you. I want you guys, like I am telling you, like nobody's business. Just be you. Everyone else is already taken, and you are the best leader for your team. People are attracted to you as you. And I'm not Alita, trust me. Like I'm not. I'm not Alita. I'm not Megan. Okay. So Megan, my daughter Megan, is under me. Okay. Oh, when you have a strong diamond under you, like talk about trying to figure yourself out. We went through some things too. So, but you grow from it. And, you know, you have to be you, and you have to take the time to reflect back and think about, what am I good at? What am I passionate at? What can I bring to my team that, you know, and be okay with it. I realized I was the product specialist. All that research, like everybody, even on Alita's team, they all come to me like, I'm the product specialist. You have an issue, we do Zooms, I do product coaching, and all the like. And so I tapped into that. But you know what? I didn't even see that. It was my daughter Megan who saw that. She's like, we're going to do like business coaching, but mom, would you do product coaching, because you're the best at that. And and so I don't know, everyone just is their own leader, and don't try to be anybody else. Like that is so important. And I'm pretty good at not comparing myself to people. I don't let that get in the way. And so, but you still have to make sure you think about that. Don't compare yourself to somebody else, whether it's your journey, your leadership, your knowledge, your gifts. Everyone has gifts, and you'll figure out what they are. Just be aware. Awareness is really half the battle, and just taking some time to just sit in it and reflect. And it changes. Like I still discover things, right? And then, you know, I kind of talked about, you know, how you can, you know, you can do anything at any age. So, you know, that's my, you know, if you call it your niche, it's kind of like Melissa's, you know, like I want to help other women in their 40s, 50s, and beyond to know that there is a wonderful season of life, that you can do anything you want, and you can make an income and an impact no matter what. So, so no matter what your age is, you can do this, no matter what your background is or anything like that. And and you know, something else that I love about Plexus that drew me to it as a business, right? Not only is it simple, okay, so nobody says it's easy. Just remember that. Don't, those terms are not interchangeable. It is not easy. Like I'm telling you, I've done the hardest work of my life, like on myself, and working with others in my life. But is this business model simple? Yes. You know, you recruit, you retain, you duplicate, and you develop leaders. Because you know what? You can develop leaders. Don't ever think that you can't. Like, oh gosh, you know, that's my lid, I can't develop leaders. You can. If you're a silver, you can develop silvers. If you're gold, you can develop golds. If you're, you know, and so on and so forth. So you can do it. You have that ability. You just need to allow yourself to believe that. And belief is huge as well. But I'll leave you with this. One of the things I love about, and I may not be saying it right, I wrote it down somewhere and I wish I could find it in my notes, but I can't find it. You know, a lot of times when people go out to work at 9 to 5 and they work, you know, 40, 50, 60, 70 hours, and they barely get a raise. I got 120% raise one year, like in Plexus, you know? So it's like, that's insane. Like who doubles? I literally doubled my salary. I was like, that's crazy. And I'm just going to say it. It went from like 93 to like 210. I was like, this is insane. I've never had made money like that as a CPA. And I thought, how does that happen in a pandemic? Like, it's crazy. People want these products. They are desperate for them. And it is simple, okay? But it's not easy. And I think about all those families, and it's like, are you out there making a living, or are you making a life for yourself? So there's a difference between making a living and making a life for yourself. And I feel like I am living my absolute best life. I have a VA now, so I'm going to encourage you also to do that and do it sooner than I did. Like do it at Emeralds, not at Diamond. And she just put together, because well, I can do things, but I'd rather not. She puts together reels, not me. So she just put one together of my grandkids, and I literally teared up, and I thought, this is exactly why I do this. So I can live life with them on my terms. They live next door now, and we are living our dreams. That was our why for my daughter and I. We always wanted to be together. Now we get to be together, live next door to each other, do this business together, and dream big. Like it's amazing, and it just makes my heart so happy. So that's kind of what I got for you today.
Okay, so good. Can I ask just a few questions? I know you're jumping into.
Yeah, go ahead.
And guys, just so you know, I will fill in a few little spots, but Megan, I think, was in Florida, now lives in Tennessee. They're kind of next door, if you want to call being on a lot of land next door, but they're the closest of neighbors. I think Phil, your son-in-law, is also in the business. I've heard him speak before, incredible businessman. So that piece is super cool to hear these
Yeah.
businessmen come in here and they just, I don't know, why do freaking men bring legitimacy? But they do, because they have these man brains, and they move all the fluff out of the way, and they just get down to bottom line. And I'm like, yes, this is so good. So I love that. I wanted y'all to catch a couple of things. And if you have a question, put it over in the chat, because I want to grab it super quick, because I also want to honor Cheryl's time. But I love one thing that you said that I don't know if people caught, was you talked about you're a diamond that's sandwiched between diamonds. And I want everyone to know that even in the midst of that, I think I always say that God brings us into this business to really strengthen our character and understanding of whose we are. And he gives us a paycheck as we figure all of that out. But I loved one of the things that she was saying, is that she really had to still come to grips with, who am I? Who am I at this point in my life, having sandwiched between two diamonds? We're all seen as successful, but we're all still working on ourselves and figuring out and having that confidence. I feel like one thing that attracted me to Cheryl is that she seems incredibly confident, very stable in who she is. But I want you to always hear those things that every one of us is working through. We are working it out as God is walking with us on a journey, and he uses this business to do that. So I loved that. I wanted to ask you one quick question. Oh, I did want to just add in that one thing that she shared about how I think it was 120% increase and doubled her salary. That was one huge piece for me that attracted me to this business. Is if you're in corporate America, if you're a school teacher, if you work hourly, your hourly rate is only going to change if you get to be an assistant manager or a manager or things like that. That's how you grow in that space. Or you work overtime and you get double pay, which means that you have no life because you're having to work overtime to get the double pay. So think through that. But from my experience of background of nonprofit in corporate America, outside of bonuses, so you might have gotten into a bonus pool depending on what level of management you were in, or if you raised money. Like for me, I raised a lot of money, and so bonuses might be attached to what I raised, things like that. But outside of that, and I was in corporate corporate America in a management level for years and years. The standard was 3 to 5% increase. So you could have an annual, review. You could do we would do 360s where your boss reviews you, your people review you, your peers review you. You could have an A+, and you might get 5%, maybe. Standard was 3 to 5. To look at this business plan and realize that depending on me working on myself, me sharing, me building up and developing, just like she said, recruit, retrain, duplicate, and develop leaders, I had some form of control over what my increases were. And that's a big deal because in corporate America, you can work your rear end off 60 to 80 hours. You're still not going to get above 5% unless you go to a competitive company that will pay you an increase because they want you because you have the secrets. That's bottom line. And then you get to change over into that space, maybe even have to move your family to get that increase, but then you're never going to go above 5%. That's reality of our world. And to come into a business model that says you get to choose. You get to choose. You might have to work a lot on yourself. You might have to work on character building, on influence, on adding value, but you get to choose if you want to develop yourself, and you get to choose how you want to increase. That was beautiful to me to be able to see what you can do with that. So I loved that you shared about that because that's a big deal. Last thing, and then I'm going to let you jump off. And I hope you're seeing these. I don't know if you can see these, Cheryl, the comments over here.
I can. Yep.
But I wanted to ask you, going from your CPA, which was, that was your business, but moving from that form of a business into Plex's, both businesses were relational. That was one thing that you loved about your CPA background. But what would you say was your biggest transition of moving into this business model? What was your business? Was it a skill set? Was it developing yourself? What did that look like? Was it equating hours to not having to do 60 hours? Like for me, flipping from a 60-hour week to, hey, I get to choose my hours. That was a big transition for me of figuring those things out. What was it for you?
That's an interesting question because I could always choose my hours. I kind of chose my hours before, but ooh, I honestly, it probably was the community. I know that seems crazy,
It doesn't.
but it probably was. I really loved, okay, so you never have this kind of encouragement and uplifting and growth in corporate America. Like I used to work for a public CPA firm. Okay. I mean, I started out there and then I did some other temporary jobs when I was pregnant with Megan or Megan was little and things like that before I started my CPA business. And it was like, it just was not like this. And I thought, oh, so the community really attracted me. And then the fact that so there's a couple things that you can learn and earn. So yes, I had my finance background, but I knew I still had a lot to learn, but I could learn and earn. Like seeing, I'm just going to be honest, like seeing those weekly paychecks was an interesting thing for me. I thought, oh, and still to this day, on Thursday, I'll get an email and I'm like, oh, I got paid. Like I still forget and then think, oh, it's every week. Yes. So I do like that reward system. But really it was the overall community and just the simplicity of where in brick and mortar businesses, like, I mean, because again, I had a lot of them. 5 years of putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into capital into building these businesses. I paid, well, $39.95, and I have products that help me feel better and I can build a business and share them with someone. It was just like, this is crazy. So it was the crazy simplicity of how you can help people and earn money and they get their health and their life. And wow, like this is crazy. So it was kind of, and I didn't really, I had no preconception about network marketing because I didn't really understand. Like I didn't have, like I didn't really know what network marketing was. Like, did I go to Longer Burger basket parties and Pampered Chef one, but I never knew they were network marketing companies. No one ever said that word. You know what I mean? So I had no preconceptions. So I like it didn't, make a difference to me. Okay, this is Plexus, I'll do this. Like, I wasn't like, oh, not network marketing, you know? So I didn't have that clouding my judgment either. You know what I mean? And I think that clouds people's judgment. And I love, and this is the one other thing that I found as I continued on, is that Plexus has integrity. I tell people every time that Alec and Tarl operate in the center of integrity and not on the fringes. And that makes a difference. A lot of companies operate on those fringes and ours doesn't. If something like, you know, I use the CBD oil as an example. Like, would I like that to come out? Yes. I don't even know if they're ever going to come out with it, but they don't feel like all their T's are crossed and their I's are dotted. So it's not coming out. That's all there is to it. Like, it's it, you know, case closed. And so I admire them for that. And the one other piece, okay, so someone said, as you started to see growth in your business, what helped you stay in momentum? This is the thing, okay? My story, health and business, is consistency and patience. And I'm telling you, you need both of them. You have got to be consistent every single day. Absolutely every single. Melissa, I don't know if you've heard it, because this is another one I'm going to talk about in our power hour, is I was listening to Kristen Boss on her social selling podcast, and she talked about micro quitting. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so good. People micro quit. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to hit that goal. I'll just wait a week. No, like even if it's one person, and Alita and I even talk about this now because things shift as you're a diamond, but guess what? You still got to do the work, right? So even if it's one person a day, one person a week, always posting, always doing stories, like always talking to people in conversations, like do it all the time. Like, say, even if it was 3 days a week, because crazy things are going on in your life, it's still 3 days a week. Don't ever stop. You have to be consistent, and then you will be successful. That's what it's all about. That's what it boils down to. It really is. Just, you have to keep going. You have to be consistent, and people will see that and they're encouraged by it and grow, and then the growth happens, you know? So that's really it. All right, ladies, I gotta go.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for being on with us. And Cheryl, I so appreciate you. Thank you for.
Oh, well, you are welcome. And Joan, I lived in Mullica Hill, New Jersey, which is in South Jersey, like 20 minutes across from the bridge. But I grew up in Flemington in Hunterdon County. That's where I spent like 25 years of my life. So, yeah. All right.
I'm a Philly girl.
What?
And I said, I'm a Philly girl, but I spent all my summers at the shore.
Okay. And what shore did you go to?
I went to a private beach. It's called Whale Beach. It's in between Strathmere and Sea Isle.
Okay. Yeah. We would do either like Beach Haven or mostly Ocean City.
Right.
So
it's very close. Ocean City is the big one. Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a great day, and thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.